Hey Stampers, welcome to Sherry's Stamp Treasures. Today I'm going to share with you how to create this gorgeous sponged sunset background. This card was actually inspired by a card created by Michelle Zindorf. I pretty much cased it. I'm not sure if this is how she actually got to the end result, but this is my version of her card. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, grab some scrap paper here, and I'm starting with a piece of white cardstock, 3.5 inches by 4 3/4, so 3.5 by 4 3/4. And what I've done is I've pre-sponged it with some crushed curry ink. So I did it about three quarters of the cardstock, the top half of the cardstock. Just sponged it with some yellow. Most of that yellow will get covered over, so I'm not too concerned with how consistent it is. It's just my base. And then I'm going to take a 2-inch circle punch, just for some scrap cardstock, and I'm going to position it where I want my sun to be. So I want it about there. And then I've pre-cut out of scrap cardstock again the Sunburst Thinlit. And normally when you do it this way, but we are going to flip it over and we're going to use it going this way. So I'm going to position it over top of my circle. So this bit is over top of my circle, but still making a point of ensuring that the rays go all the way to the edges of the white cardstock. Okay, and then I'm going to take some pumpkin pie ink and a sponge, and I'm going to start sponging. Now, you do want to be careful when you sponge, because if you go in a circular motion like you normally do when you sponge, you're going to get these rays caught, and then you'll end up with sponge and ink underneath. So what I do is I ink it up and I pull from the center out. Okay, so I'm going to do that all the way. And it looks nice if you get it darker right where the rays begin, and then lighter as they go out. To each of these rays. Last couple here. Actually, I think I will do a little bit on this bottom. It'll likely be covered over with black, but just in case. Okay, and then I'm going to take this off, and you can see there that we've got some nice dark orange rays, but we want to make that a little bit more subtle. I find that's a little bit too defined. You can see here that we want to make it just a little bit more subtle. So what we want to do is keep that circle there, and if you have temporary adhesive, you can use temporary adhesive to hold this in place for sure, but I find it just as easy to hold it with my hands. So I'm going around and I'm doing the pumpkin pie ink in a circular motion around my sun. And I want it to be darker right around where the circle is. And then I'll start to pull the color out. Okay, and when it's as dark as you want it, then you can go ahead and stop. Let's just make it a little bit darker here. Okay, and then we can remove our sun. So now we've got our sun, but I want my sun to be just a little bit darker. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my my crushed curry ink and sponge. And I don't need to worry about any templates or anything, because this is a lighter ink color than the orange that we've already used. So I'm just going to go back in and make that sun a little bit more defined, a little darker. Okay, and once you're happy with that, then that is your sunset. Now we've got to do the base to create that little silhouette look. So I've got just a piece of scrap paper here that I've torn to get that torn edge. And I'm going to position it, I don't know, right about there. Oh, sorry. I guess we need to go this way because we need to sponge underneath. So I'll go like that. And then I'm going to take my black ink and I'm going to start sponging. And when you sponge in black, I find you need a little bit more. It requires a little bit more effort. Because you get kind of a gray, splotchy look to begin with. And you just keep adding layers until you're happy with the darkness. Okay. And still need a little bit more here. I'm going to try to cover up the yellow and the orange that you can see there. So you can see that the black requires a little bit more. You really want that dark, crisp black. And I'm using our basic black ink pad. You can use Memento, you can use StazOn, you can use whatever. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So then I can remove my template. Look at my fingers, they're all yellow. Okay, and then I am using the cactus image from the Birthday Fiesta stamp set. So I'm using this image here. And because this is a photopolymer stamp set, I'm going to use my Memento ink. And I'm going to ink that up. And stamp it down here. Just like that. And then I've got a piece of black cardstock that measures 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. So I'm going to add this to the center of that. And you want to be careful not to smudge your cactus because we put so many layers of ink on the cardstock. It takes a little bit longer to dry, so I just make a point of not touching it for a few minutes. Okay, so that's on there. And then my card base is a 5.5 inch by 8.5 inch piece of pumpkin pie cardstock, scored at 4 1/4. And inside I've added a vanilla piece of cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4, stamped with 2 greetings from the Better Together stamp set. This is a great set because it's got a few images, but it's got stamps that go well together, thus the name of this stamp set. So happy birthday, wishing you happiness on your special day, and then there's a Christmas one with sympathy, and there's something for the outside of your card and as well as something for the inside of your card. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done that, so now I'm going to put some ink on here, or some glue on here. Add that to the center of my card, and then we are done. Isn't that a gorgeous card? So pretty. And it makes for a great masculine birthday card. It would work for anybody, but I love the idea of using it as a masculine birthday card because I'm always in need of those. So if you're looking for more inspiration, feel free to visit my blog at www.stamptreasures.com. Thanks for watching.